Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's Q&A. Hello, hello. I am Dr. Janine, naturopathic doctor. It's great to meet you all, and I hope that you've got your questions ready for me today. And it's usually based on what we talked about in yesterday's show. So if you missed the show yesterday, we talked about a number of things. We talked about puffy eyes. We talked about cellulite. We talked about carpal tunnel syndrome, and I showed you some exercises for that. So it's a bit of a review today, as well as answering your questions. As you know, on Tuesday's live show, I can't always get to all of your questions, so this is the opportunity to ask away. I'll do my best to answer your questions. Just some little, guidelines for the Q&A on Wednesdays is, of course, I can't answer personal medical issues. If you have a personal question, this is not the time or the place to do that. However, if you ask a generalized, so just think of a larger audience, as we have, of course, watching our Q&As, if you can generalize your question to really help a lot of people based on what you want to learn more about, then pose your question in that way. Then it's easier for me to respond in a way that is going to help the masses. Of course, I'm not your doctor, but I am your doctor at the same time. Of course, here on social media, having and building a relationship with all of my followers is my passion, and I love the fact that everybody tunes in and says hello, like Vinny the Rocks 6. Thank you for tuning in today. Hello, hello. Solano, hello. Nice to see you. Airplane 111. Okay, questions about how to get rid of that cellulite. Let's go through the protocols. I'm going to go through that, absolutely. And King Jason, Nikki, nice to see you. Thank you for tuning in. Yes, a lot of people have parasites. It's something that we did talk a lot about yesterday. We can go through some of those signs and symptoms of having those parasites. I can review that as well. Nice to see you, Nicole. Hello, hello. Just outside of Toronto, Ontario, Canada. That's where we're at in the studio here. I am Dr. Janine. Please hit that share button and make sure that you are subscribed. You are following as well, so you always get, my latest and best information that I'm always uploading when we have our lives. It's amazing to be here. Doc, thank you for following. Nice to see you. Thank you for tuning in for the first time. Okay, let's start with cellulite. Let's go through some of the tips for cellulite. This is what we covered in yesterday's show. You can always screenshot these tips, of course, when you have the ability on the platform that you're watching on to be able to do that and jot down some notes if you want to do that old school. That's why I always take notes. I don't know, put one in the comments if you like to actually handwrite notes. And actually, it's been proven that when you handwrite notes, there's something that happens in your brain that your retention of that information is superior to copying, pasting, and doing things like that. Like I try to teach my kids not to do. You have to handwrite some things once in a while, old school. All right, here we go. 5 tips to get rid of that dreaded cellulite. And just as a review, that cellulite, of course, forms, and this is a female problem, so women, because of our connective tissue is very different from a man's connective tissue, and because we get those outpouchings of extra fluid and, toxins that build up, and because of our hormones as well, we also get, of course, that pulling down sensation of that fascia and that connective tissue. So that's going to be pulling down. That's what causes the lumps and the bumps, and that's why we get the cellulite, ladies. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to smooth things out. We want to make sure that we're addressing that toxic load as well, and that's why number 1 on my list is doing that full body detox. So remember, it's not just about, local toxicity. We have to consider our toxicity in our internal organs. So when we look at Lucy here, hello, Lucy. Lucy's doing great today. Okay, so Lucy shows us, again, when we're talking about lung toxicity, liver toxicity, the liver has a lot to do with how we convert our hormones. So that's really important as part of that full body detox. And what is that? That's using different herbal medicines in combination to actually address all of this toxic load, as well as digestive issues. I mean, that can translate into your body holding on to more toxins, especially if you have symptoms of that, like a lot of gut issues. But this is important that we're addressing this in that full body detox. Okay, number 2, lymphatic massage. And number 3, exercise. So doing that full body lymphatic drainage is something that I'm going to cover in next week's show. So please make sure that you tune in on Tuesday at 11 a.m. It's a different time, is the actual show. So on Tuesdays at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, you got to tune in because we will be doing the full lymphatic drainage for the entire body. Okay, I'm going to show you that technique. We're going to review that for those of you who have been here for a little bit and you've seen some of my posts on that. Okay, exercise, we know we got to move that lymph. The lymph doesn't move on its own, and that's one of the reasons why we want to target that when we're targeting that cellulite. And roller massage. So there's a different, all types of different devices. I love this one because it just happens to fit nicely in your hand, and you, of course, now are moving up at the backs of your legs. You're moving up to move that lymph starting behind, so there's big lymphatic chain behind your knees. You're moving that lymph always towards your main lymphatic drainage point, which is in your trunk, in your torso, okay? So always moving up towards, and really you can go back and forth to really sort of, and it's great if you've got, fascial adhesions and you've got your IT band is sore. I mean, it is quite painful, but you want to get that circulation going with a device such as this. Now, having an actual therapist, use their hands to do some drainage massage, doing the cupping is also great. Removing that lymph and helping to iron out that cellulite if you care about it. Some people don't care, some people do, okay? As well as your herbal medicines that specifically have been known to help with getting that venous flow going, helping to strengthen the vein walls, but also helping with cellulite. And one of my favorites is Gotu Kola. We talked about that yesterday. Horse chestnut is also very good, butcher's broom, and citrus bioflavonoids. So when you eat either, it could be any citrus fruit, really. It could be an orange, it could be a tangerine, it could be lemons even. So the white part, the pith, and this is what my mom used to always say, that white part of your citrus fruits is so healthy for you. That's like the most nutrient dense part of a citrus fruit is the white part, the pith. And yeah, that's where the diosmin and the hesperidin are. And these are really important bioflavonoids that help to strengthen the vein walls, help to flush out that circulation and get, that cellulite gone. That's what we want. Thank you for sharing today's live, Raina. It's great to see you here. Thank you, Jennifer, for sharing as well. So nice to have so many new people here as well. So thanks for all my new followers that are here. And in case you missed it, of course, on one platform, we hit the 1 million follower mark just about over a week ago. I'm super excited. You know who you are. Thank you so much every week for tuning in. Okay, now more questions coming in. Let me know as they are. No, I don't have the link for the roller. You can just search. There's all different kinds of ones that you can search online. Just purchase whichever one looks good to you. Thank you. And okay, full body detox. No makes Musini. Full body detox. Okay, so herbal medicines. I don't think we have the slide for that one right now, but what I like to focus in on is different herbal medicines in combination together, and what they do is they force the internal organs like your lungs. So burdock is a great herbal medicine that I use for part of that full body detox, for lung detox. Milk thistle, parsley for the kidneys. The kidneys, of course, are hidden in behind here. For digestive tract and getting things going in terms of the poops. So yeah, if you missed yesterday, yes, we did talk about poops in the live and getting those poops going. Another herbal medicine that I love is Cascara sagrada. So it's very gentle in the right dosage, helps to get things going as part of that full body detox. And that's something that we can review again. We're going to be working on, so I hope my team can make a note of this. We'll make a slide of all of my favorite detox herbals together so you can see them visually, which is so important so that you can actually see that and screenshot that. Of course, we have that for the parasite cleansing when we talk about having healthier poops, of course, with parasite cleansing and candida cleansing. Of course, we have our Cabo slide. We can show you that right now. If we're dealing with these parasites, I'm going to show you those herbs in just a second. Of course, the roundworms, and these can cause a lot of digestive symptoms, a lot of gas and bloating. The tapeworms robbing you of your iron levels, of your vitamin B12. The hookworm is notorious for dropping down your iron levels. So sometimes, you may have a chronically low iron, you don't know why. Well, you could have some of these parasites. Protozoa causes a lot of diarrhea, very commonly found in, if you're swimming in a public swimming pool, let's just say, and you by accident, and this happens with kids all the time, by accident they gulp some water down of that pool water, and even if it's chlorinated, usually it's not chlorinated enough, and again, chlorine is a halogen, it's not great for thyroid, so that's a whole other story, but yeah, is there enough chlorine to really counteract all of those parasites that possibly could be in that water, and so your kids or you accidentally gulp down some of that pool water, and yeah, you pick this up, and of course, within hours or the next couple days later, you get terrible diarrhea because of the parasite. So doing regular parasite cleansing, let's look at the herbal medicines really quickly, is something that I'm a huge proponent of, and making sure that you are doing it naturally. Yes, there are, of course, conventional medicines for killing off parasites. Yeah, they work really well, but they also have some not so great side effects. And that's what I love about Cabo, is the fact that we can use the cloves, the artemisia, the black walnuts, the oregano. I actually take them all together in one combination as that parasite cleansing. Super, super effective. Something that I've used with my patients for years. Absolutely love it. And I have a lot of followers now. All over the world who love my protocol for killing parasites. So if you're one of those people, you need more information about that, definitely you can put it in the comments, and I'm sure my team is going to reach out and, answer your questions on, product names and things like that. Okay, awesome. I see that on one of the platforms we've already answered that question. Amazing, amazing. Okay, more questions. I know that the herbal medicine that the Ali, did you get it? The one that starts with the C is the cloves. Okay, so for Cabo cloves, we start with cloves, artemisia, black walnuts, and oregano. That's part of the parasite cleansing protocol. And you start with the parasite cleansing. So these herbs in one capsule, you start with that first, and then you go to and that's for 2 weeks, and then you go to the detox, the full body detox. So that full body detox is part of getting rid of those parasites as well. And the reason for this is that the parasites themselves, the candida, so remember candida, which is an overgrowth of something that normally we do have always some candida in our system, but if it overgrows and it becomes the fungal, more invasive form and it starts forming biofilms in your gut, this can be problematic. And this is why you're craving sugar all the time, maybe why you can't lose the weight, maybe you've got sinus infections or ear infections or, fungal issues on your skin. Dandruff can be related to that candida. And this is why, because candida gives off over 60 different toxins, okay, just as an example. So as you're killing it. So not only do you have, and this is why people, when they start doing candida cleansing or parasite cleansing, and by the way, this is a candida cleanse as well. So if you're looking to do a candida cleanse in a different way, in a better way, in my opinion, of course, that combination is amazing. But here's the thing with candida, because it's also giving off those toxins, besides the fact that you've got the candida itself, this is why doing that full body detox with the herbal medicines becomes very important, so that you don't have that die-off reaction, if you've heard about that, and you get headachy and you feel sick to your stomach and all those things just from doing the cleanse itself. That is mitigated by, of course, doing the full body detox. All right, so that's something. Okay, how does candida grow? If you feed it what it loves. And what does it love? Junk food and sugar, alcohol as well. And so that's something that, if you never get natural sunlight exposure, that's going to make candida grow as well, out of control. Okay, so this is, Dennis, you want more information on how to get those parasites out? Yes, there is some commenting happening here from my team. So when you see Team Doctor Janine, that's my team behind the scenes. They're answering your questions. So you can ask them anything as well. Okay, so DH Bond 4, yes, the how do we do the parasite cleanse? Okay, so the first 2 weeks you're using those herbal medicines, the Cabo, okay? And that's one product that I take, of course, and it's all in combination. So everything is in one capsule. You're taking 2 capsules twice a day of that. And then you stop the first bottle, okay? And then you go to the full body detox, all right? So I hope that makes sense. Awesome. Now, if you were here yesterday, you know that we played from our friends at Vita2 Nutritionals, we played for the Vita Detox. Okay, so this is something that we played for yesterday. We have quiz questions. So if you missed yesterday's show, please, you got to tune in on Tuesdays when we're live every Tuesday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay, and what we do is we have live quiz questions, and you can only win the prize if you actually tune into that show live. And you have the ability to, in the comments, you answer my quiz questions. And then of all of our participants, so you don't even need to answer the question correctly, of all my participants, we randomly select our winner every week. And of course, next Tuesday, I will announce this week's winner from yesterday. All right, so congratulations to everybody who's won. And we have had some people that have won more than once, okay? So just because you win once doesn't mean that you can't win a prize again in a future show. So keep always participating, and maybe you're just a very lucky person and you'll be able to win, okay? Which is amazing. All right, so what is everybody's asking here. Mary Gonzalez 62 is asking, what is the herbal medicine for candida? I think we're gonna answer that in the comments. And I know that we're doing it on one platform, we're getting that answer in, but you can check it out. It's gonna come up on your platform in just a second. I think everybody is seeing what I'm seeing here. Okay, perfect. And where can you buy the Cabo supplement? Azucar free. Yes, we're going to get that to you in a second. It's coming. It's coming. Hello, Inger from Denmark. Thank you for tuning in today. Great to have you here. Thanks for all my new followers. I see that happening as well, and all those hearts and the love, and of course all the donations that come in throughout the live show. Thank you to all my super fans as well. You guys are the best. Another thing that we talked about yesterday. So this is, somebody's making a comment about the studio. Thank you so much. Yes, we put a lot of work and effort into the studio here, so thank you so much. And I am on television, so for those of you who've seen me here in Canada, I am on television at least once a month, and I talk a lot about, supplements and things, which is amazing. Okay, now, did we get that answer in? I hope, yes? Okay, I'm hoping it's coming in. A few people are asking about the actual product names for the protocol. That is coming in just a second. Now, we did talk yesterday about berberine and some of the attributes of berberine, because I get a lot of questions on that. I actually have a preferred combination outside of berberine. It actually helps to balance blood glucose levels, which I love, and I'm going to show you that in just a second. But we know that berberine and the active component is known as an isoquinoline alkaloid, and it is found in some plants. So some of the most common plants that we get berberine, where it's extracted from, of course, are golden seal, and also Oregon grape, and of course the Berberis vulgaris, which is barberry. And this compound, and has been shown in some research to actually balance your blood glucose levels. So this is something that in one study, I don't know if we can pull this up, is something that I showed you yesterday, that they compared the berberine at a, pretty mediocre dosage, just 480 milligrams daily, and they compared it up, and it has great effects for type 2 diabetes, equally to metformin. So anybody who knows about metformin, of course, the drug that's commonly given to help with balancing blood glucose for type 2 diabetes, so the berberine had those specific effects, okay, which is very promising. But at the same time, one of the reasons why I didn't ever use it with my patients, the berberine, was the fact that it has some side effects that people aren't always aware of. So it can cause some nausea and vomiting. So it's not one of those herbal medicines that, with full confidence as a practitioner, as a naturopath myself, I always erred on the side of caution, because I like a lot of pharmaceuticals, unfortunately. You give something to help something, and then it's causing something else. I don't like that. So I'm very careful when I do recommend herbal medicines, for that matter, or supplements for that matter, that, it's going to always give you the good, and hopefully you're not experiencing any of the negative side effects. And this has a lot to do with dosage and getting the right amount of milligram amounts of certain nutrients in. And that's why I've become an expert at formulations and how things should go together in terms of being able to have that efficacy and getting the clinical results that you're looking for. So parasite's a big thing, detox, and getting is a great example. Let's go back to Lucy for just a second. You're getting maybe headaches, you're a chronic headache sufferer, and we've been able to help actually a bunch of my followers here just with some of my recommendations for chronic headaches. We actually had one migraine sufferer who followed some of my protocols, of course, from learning here, just tuning in, and she was able to get rid of her migraines that she had for years. And I think at the time, and I don't know if you're here and you're watching, but at the time when we followed back in with her, and she followed up with us, and she said, she hadn't had migraines in months and months and months, just from doing one simple thing that she learned here on the Doctor Janine Show, and that's exactly why I do what I do. Okay, but here, when we're talking about that toxicity, again, maybe it is the headaches that you're getting that can be related to internal toxicity. Maybe it is the skin rashes, combination of the parasites, and maybe it is, that toxicity that's built up. Because here's the thing with eczema, psoriasis, when those toxins are building up from the inside out, it's something that is going to, overwhelm your system, and that's when you can start to get some of those symptoms of, that toxicity displaying in your skin, the eczema, in the psoriasis. Okay, more people, you want to hear more about parasites? All right, let's talk about them. Now, what are the symptoms? How do you know that you've got parasites? So maybe it is the candida, maybe it is, the flukes. These can be in your brain, they can be also in your liver. The roundworms, one of the most common types of intestinal worms or parasites that we have as humans, tapeworms, of course, as well. And the dreaded hookworm, I mean, it is absolutely disgusting. I see that. But why is it called a hookworm? If you can see those fangs. So basically they hook onto the intestinal wall, and these can be in the lungs as well. So usually you pick it up through your skin, it gets into your bloodstream, up into the lungs, and then it can manifest, of course, in and hooks onto the intestinal wall. You can have these for 10 years. You don't necessarily know it, okay? It's scary stuff, all right? All right, so how do you know that we have parasites? Okay, so from last week, if you missed last week's show, and I'm going to show you what we talked about yesterday as well, but from last week's show, 6 signs you have parasites. Okay, loud gurgling sounds that you hear, especially right after you eat. If you're hearing a lot of loud noise in your gut after eating, sign of those parasites. Itchy bum. Okay, we put backside here, but itchy bum. Another sign of having parasites. If you're craving a lot of sweets, especially for that candida, candida thrives and grows off of the fact that you're eating a lot of sugar, maybe alcohol as well. Loves it, loves it. And that is, you know, one of the symptoms, of course, that you could be experiencing. Foggy thinking and irregular bowel movements and grinding your teeth at night. This is common in children as well when they do have some intestinal worms and parasites happening, okay? Now, what we talked about yesterday, let's continue the list. Other signs and symptoms, of course, a lot of gas and bloating, irregular poops. We'll go to the poop platter in just a second. Skin rashes, autoimmune disorders. So that is often, it could be a thyroid issue, right? So you've got a thyroid issue because you had originally parasites, and it's something that you definitely want to be aware of the fact that these things are connected. That leaky gut can be connected to what's happening with your thyroid and low thyroid or hyperthyroid as well. Sensitivity to perfume and car exhaust. Well, isn't that interesting? And usually this is the culprit when you've got a candida issue happening, that you have, of course, your sensitivity. So you smell perfume or like exhaust and it's just too much for you. It either gives you a headache or just like you have to evacuate the area, just get out of there. And that's often because of that candida, and you crave a lot of sugar. So there are protocols that we talk a lot about here, and that parasite cleansing protocol is a candida protocol with, of course, Cabo, those herbal medicines that we can go back to it in just a second. I want to just touch on the poop platter really quickly. One of the comments in the videos I was reading yesterday, it was so funny. I was reading through one of on one of the platforms, again, a poop video went viral and over 1 million views. And it was so funny because I love watching the comments on the poop. And of course, one of the comments was, the fact, I want to use your poop platter as my centerpiece on my table. I just was like laughing to myself out loud because that is not a good visual, but at the same time, kind of funny, right? So here we see if your poops are not either, a healthy log or the gold standard S-shaped dark sinker, then maybe you do have an indication that your gut microbiome is not as healthy as what it could be. It could be lighter stools, not so great. That could be liver gallbladder issues. It could be like sort of a lot of constipated balls that have conglomerated together, what I call the elephant poop. Maybe it is what we call the meatball poop or the little rabbit pellet poops that are with severe constipation. This can be an indication, again, that your gut microbiome isn't well balanced. You've got maybe too many of the bad guys versus the good guys, and maybe you do have, of course, some, and I just dropped the poop on the floor, and hopefully it didn't stain my pants. There we go. So this is the thing that, maybe you've got to do some of that parasite cleansing, candida cleansing with the protocols to really help to clean up your gut microbiome. And it is amazing. I just want to say it is amazing when you actually clean up that microbiome, how much better you feel. And it's not something that your doctor is always talking about. And that's why I thank you for everybody who's tuning in today and you're actually learning something today. Isn't this a great part of your day? Thank you, Andrea, for following. D. Roses, thank you so much. Thank you, Z. Beth, for sharing today's live. A123 for Red-A-Net, thank you for sharing today's live as well. Make sure that you are subscribed, that you are following. It's so great to see so many new people here today. It is amazing to have you all here. Tara has a good question. The zinc oxide in the sunblock that we've talked about, can that contribute to your overall intake of your zinc in your diet? I don't believe so because it is not properly penetrated via the skin. However, I would need to look that up. So if my team can actually make a note, because I'm going to look that up, how much actually transdermally you can actually intake of zinc through the skin. That's a great question, something I've never thought about. Of course, you know that I make my own sunscreen. I've shared that recipe here on the show, and it's something maybe we should be reviewing next week again. I'm not going to tell you, but I am working on something else in terms of that sunscreen recipe, but I can't tell you until I've experimented enough myself, and of course that's what you know that I love to do. But natural sunscreen recipe is really important because protecting your skin if you're going to be outside for prolonged periods of time is something that you definitely want to do. Okay, now I think there was another question. Kevin saying your doctor sucks. Well, that's unfortunate, but I think a lot of people might agree that their own doctor sucks, and sometimes these things are not tested for, and that's what I was going to start to say. When we're talking about parasite cleansing, you can have a lot of the symptoms of having some dysbiosis, as it's called, in your gut. So you have, too many of the bad guys, so those parasites and the candida, and not enough of the good guys, not enough of your probiotics. And now you're getting a lot of gas and bloating and those gurgling sounds and all the signs and symptoms that we talked about. You're craving sweets all the time or alcohol, and maybe you get headaches, maybe your energy's all over the place, you're not sleeping well, because your gut microbiome is messed up. And that's why doing regular parasite cleansing with some, fantastic Mother Nature given herbal medicines is what it's all about, to really get healthy again, which is amazing. And that's why I teach, and that's what I do here on my shows. Of course, in all of my content, I teach you so that you can make those decisions for your own health, so that you can feel better. Because at the end of the day, if you're going to your doctor, you're not getting results, you don't like being tied to maybe pharmaceuticals and things. There often is an natural solution for what you may be suffering with, and that's what I'm all about. I like to teach, of course, and that's why some of you, many of you love to tune in every week. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Dr. Janine is thebomb.com. You are the best. Mishi, thank you so much. You guys are the best. I love my followers, I have to say. Gut cleansing, Sonia, we just talked about that. So doing that full body detox is something that we're going to put together a slide with all of my favorite herbal medicines in combination for that full body detox. And gut cleansing is so important, putting the good guys back in as well. But I always start, and this is what I always did with my patients as well over the years, was always starting with the parasite cleansing protocol to get, rid of those bad guys, sort of get a clean slate as to what's going on with your gut. And then you do the rest of the full body detox and following in, of course, with the probiotics at all times as well. Tiene, thank you for tuning in. Mohammed, thank you, thank you, thank you. It's so great to have you all here today. And do a full video on gut recovery. Okay, my team, please write that down. That's actually a great idea, to do a full video on gut recovery. So how to recover your gut, maybe after surgery, after you've had Crohn's colitis, parasite issues, IBS, yes, AG London, New York, yes, that's a great question for IBS. Everything applies, what I just talked about my parasite cleansing protocol. So here's the thing, if my patient will come in and say, I've got IBS, I've got constipation, and then I have uncomfortable feelings in my gut, I have a lot of gas and bloating, and then a few days diarrhea, back and forth, I always did the parasite cleansing protocol, starting off with the kill phase, with the Cabo, which we talked about, and then getting into the full body detox, always putting the probiotics back in. Some people need extra fiber, which is important as well. So that's a lot of what I did in my practice with my doctor, with my patients, of course, when they came in to see me as a practitioner. But then since then, of course, helping to educate a lot of people, and I've helped a lot, like thousands and thousands of people with gut cleansing and parasite cleansing protocol, with, of course, my education piece, and when I'm on television and helping people through some of their, ailments as to what's going, which really started off in the gut. All right, it's not always the gut, but a lot of times it is the gut, and you just got a clean slate once in a while and do that parasite cleansing. It's something that I do 4 times a year as that protocol, just as a preventative, just to clean house, just like we do spring cleaning or whatever. We need to do that for our insides as well. All right, everyone, thank you for everybody who tuned in today. It was so great to see you all. Make sure you do tune in on Tuesday. So just a quick reminder, Tuesday is the live show, the Doctor Janine Show. There we go with the Cabo. Tuesdays at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I will see you then. And we have a bunch of new topics that we're talking about, revisiting some things that we talked about in the past as well. We will be circling back to that leptin resistance. So if you don't know what that is, you're having difficulty losing weight, we'll circle back to that as well on Tuesday. And please tune in, even if it's just to say a quick hello on Tuesday. Please tune in then. I will see you then. Have a great weekend, everyone, and continue to check out all of my content. If there's something that you want to learn more about, please put in the comments of all of my videos, and we will definitely get your questions answered. Thank you for everybody. If I didn't get to your question, I apologize today. There was a lot of activity happening. Thank you to you all. I see all the hearts coming in. Love you all, and thanks for all my new followers as well. We'll see you next time. Bye.